in the El Paso sector. These guys are dealing with a lot, man. That's Mexico right now. I'm standing in the middle where they cross. Basically, I'm exactly on the border. I got 1 foot in Mexico, 1 in America. These guys have to deal with this crossing all times of the day and night. This water is filthy, and they cross and they go into the processing station where they change their clothes. You understand? They get picked up by federal law enforcement, processed into the country within a day or two. That's what's happening here. Thousands a day. Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. What we're going to be talking about today is the crisis that we as Americans are all dealing with, and that is the open borders. A recent report has revealed that the regime is proposed to open the country's northern border with Canada and the southern border with Mexico, effectively dissolving the U.S. The news first broke out through an announcement by the Mexican president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, who divulged that the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, put forward the proposal. He said, I think that Blinken spoke about consolidating the region of North America, and we agree on that. He also said, we are also in favor of a unity of the entire American continent, like the way the first European community emerged and converted into the European Union. That's what we want. Now, level-headed Americans would not actually agree. I know I do not actually agree with this. However, given that the unsecured southern border paved the way for migrants and criminals blending in with them to enter the United States, while the MSM turns a blind eye to the remarks that were made by Lopez Obrador's remarks, you know, okay, I know you know who Tucker Carlson is, okay? He touched on this matter on his show, Tucker Carlson Tonight, and he said that the EU has not really worked out well for Europe, and we'll know all the details this winter because you know that they're looking at a dark winter just like we are, but they're looking at an actual dark winter. I mean, they're actually going to be having their electricity turned off for 3 hours a day, right? And, you know, and people are actually going to be freezing to death. Yeah. So naturally, the Biden administration wants to create something very much like that, but here in North America. It's like an EU-style government. We're going to merge with Mexico in the middle of the most brutal drug war in history. Mexico is effectively run by cartels at this point, but we're going to merge with the cartels. That is very unsettling to me. I don't think any of us should sleep well at night knowing this. Now, Mexico is escalating the land invasion of America by spreading out illegals to invade at geographic intervals. And Blinken's scheme could lead to massive migration that would soon make the U.S. even more unrecognizable. I mean, Mexican level of crimes, okay, and corruption could it could become status quo here, with the narco state drug cartels becoming fixtures in our nation as well. I mean, when Tucker even cited what Matt Gaetz, and that's Gaetz, he's a representative of, not representative, he's a Republican from Florida, as among the few who noticed this revelation that Lopez Obrador, the Florida congressman then appeared on Tucker's program saying that he wrote to Blinken about this proposal of his to the Mexican leader. And Gaetz then elaborated on the implications of the secretary's, the state plans. It means that the globalist left want a homogenized America because they don't think that much of the U.S. in the first place, because they don't care. That's the screwed up part about this whole thing. They don't care. And he said, I haven't gotten an answer to the letter, but it begs the question, why are we so friendly with Mexico in the first place? They've cooked up more debt in the Mexican mountains than any crazy mad scientist in the Wuhan would have thought of. It's hard to tell where the cartels end and where the government of Mexico actually begins. And then he cited instances of Mexico officials having ties with cartels. It includes former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto receiving a $100 million bribe from a cartel. And then former Mexican National Defense Secretary Salvatore Zepeda helping out the H2 cartel. And then the Attorney General in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, Sinaloa, being convicted in the U.S. and sentenced to 20 years behind bars. So Matt Gaetz remarked that while the U.S. officials are sleepwalking to a bar with Russia, they're actually surrendering American sovereignty to Mexico. And then, of course, Tucker, he's always got something to say. And he goes, of course, I mean, the Mexican cartels have killed many, many more Americans than Al-Qaeda ever did. And we fought multiple wars over that. And Gaetz continued with that, that the U.S. is opening this northern border and it's not something to look forward to. And Canada's not much better. And, and he said, I don't want my constituents having to live under the socialist tyrannical lockdowns enacted by Trudeau while their nephew is being poisoned by Mexican fentanyl. And it's just, this is just a mess. There's borders for a reason. And 45 put up a wall for a reason. And now 45, when he put up that wall, it was to protect the Americans. It's to protect the Americans from the criminals and the scumbags and the drugs and the crimes. And now the borders are getting opened. So that's the warning. Here's my advice. If you live in and around a border town, along the, in the state, but, around those towns, I know it's much to say, move, right? Amp up your security. All of us, really. Because they're being bussed in and flown in. Right? We should amp up our security. All of us, regardless of where you are. Because it obviously does not matter where we live. Amp up our security. Amp up our preps. Because it's probably going to get to a point where we're not going to be able to go to a store to buy our preps. And even if we do order online, who's to say that these bastards won't come and steal from our front porches? So amp up your security, amp up your preps, because it's probably going to get too dangerous for us to do anything anymore. And I know not all migrants are dangerous. I know. I get it. I come from a family of migrants myself. But we came here the right way. Okay? My great-grandparents and my grandparents came here from Sicily. We came here the right way. All right? Damn it. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.